Entrepreneurs aren't born, they are made through failures, breakthroughs, and relentless hustle. Welcome to the Empowered Entrepreneur TV show. This is your host Rohit Soni, airing across 185 countries, 26 plus TV networks, 100 plus podcast stations. This is where visionaries share their unfiltered journeys, strategies, and game changing insights. Your success story starts here. This is more than just a show, it's a movement. Watch, learn, and elevate. So, hello everyone, welcome back to the Empower Entrepreneur TV show. This is your host, Rohit Soni, and today we have an extraordinary guest with us, T.C Ferguson, a visionary leader in technology and in business with over 20 plus years of experience with collaborating the world's largest companies. He has built and led game-changing ventures including Forward Thinking and FreshAhead. Get ready to take a deep dive in the world of tech, software innovation, and business leadership. But before we, have TC on the stage, I'd like to talk to you about being a founder. I get it as being a founder myself for a, seven-figure business at this point. I understand the challenges, I understand the adversity, I understand how you can go from scratch to take your business life to the next level. I get that part. And maybe you, as a founder who's watching this show today, I'm not sure which place you're at, but I just want to tell you if you start and if you start with the right team and a right way to do things, you're going to get results no matter what. So you might have challenges, you might have problems along the way, you might think things are not working out, but remember, the only and the best way for things to work out is by working on them no matter what and not quitting. One of the things that I learned is do the right activities consistently. Do the activities that are productive, activities that take your business life to the next level. So, being a founder, everyone loves that word founder, but there's a baggage that comes with it. To do a lot of stuff by yourself initially, when you started out, you have to take a pressure, you have a chip on your shoulder to prove things to people. So, I just want to tell you before we start the show that this is going to be taking a deeper dive in what it takes to be a founder, what it takes to actually be the person that people can rely on, be the person that can lead teams, be the person who takes a company to the next level. Because that's what a founder's job is. It's to elevate people. If I'm here and if a founder is here, the founder's goal is to elevate me, okay? And we have to work in alignment to make it happen. So, yes, this episode is for you. If you're an entrepreneur, a founder, or a CEO who wants to lead teams, who wants to take your business and life to the next level, this is for you. So, with that, I would like to welcome TC Ferguson on the stage. Yes, TC, nice to meet you, brother. Tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Rohit, thanks for having me. Your intro says it all. Like it's a really amazing perspective that you have, and certainly I live and hopefully embody the vision that you have. I've been doing business for a long time. I had a stint in what I would call the more professional world of having a job and having bosses and whatnot. But I'm truly driven by the idea that we can make meaningful change in the world, and if you have the ability, you have the responsibility to drive toward that change. And so for me, the last 3 years or so, I've been working in the ag industry, hoping to really drive that meaningful change to bring software to ag and really help ag extract the value from software. But before that, I've done lots of really interesting things. I'm sure that we'll spend some time talking about today.
Yes, so tell us a little bit more about forward thinking, what it is all about, how you started a journey, what was your journey when you started, or just a little bit more deep dive if you can.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. For me, we know that software can be the silver bullet to unlock untold opportunity. We used to think it was education and other things, but in the last decade or so, that we've really, no one would argue with me. But as we look at software, we ask ourselves, why hasn't software done all that we know that it can? And 10 years ago, I convinced my amazing fiance and now wife to let me take a crack at changing the way people think about translating innovation and ideas into software. And if you can imagine, a beautiful, amazing partner in life, looking at you across the couch and you telling her, look, I'm going to leave my job tomorrow. I'm quitting. I'm going to go pursue this thing. And her having that kind of support to allow me to go do that. So we spent, more than 6 years building a stack of technology and translating different ideas into the ability for someone to sit down, have an idea, have a model of a business, a feature, a thing that they're trying to achieve, and be able to translate that more intuitively and directly into software, and allow software to support people's outcomes and value and ideas more directly, and really clean up the efficiency of that constant back and forth that people have. And 3 years ago, we translated that. So we took that really complex, generic software that, and again, software is just a tool, right? It's not the end all be all. 3 years ago, coming out of this really heavy R&D phase, I remember looking at my wife and going, "Okay, we've done it. We built this thing that could rival that of the Amazons, the Googles. Like we could go head to head with whatever tech stack that we want to go talk about." And she asked me, "Okay, what do we have to do next?" And I go, "Well, we just have to convince everyone to rethink the way they've been building software for 30 years." And I remember her just laughing at me. And I go, "Okay, maybe not that. But what if we took this really amazing thing and we went to industries that really need, this digital transformation, that really could use software, that are fundamental pillars of our life and society, and we allow them to run, faster, more efficient, to do things that they couldn't imagine." And she goes, "Oh, that's interesting." And so 3 years ago, we literally started doing that with some of the biggest names in ag, translating that innovation, that R&D into meaningful change to allow people, the business owner, the CEO, the director of XYZ, the person, out in the fields, their ideas to translate into software, so they could actually, for the first time, get true value from software and see it as a partner or a companion to the outcomes that they've always imagined.
Love that part where you said like things when things suddenly start getting better, we think, okay, we can beat this and we can beat that, and but the goal is to keep working, to keep going into the right direction, and to keep working on that part that's more important, that is client delivery, right? So what was the time for you when you thought to yourself, yeah, let me just take this entrepreneurial path right now? Things I've done before, I know I've done these things for a certain way in a certain environment, but now I want to take this faith and I want to turn my dreams into reality by running a successful business that based on my ethics, based on what I want to put out in the world, based on what I really want to share with my clients. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, it's a really great question. I'm probably a little different than many. I actually started my first company when I was 12. I'm literally 12 years old. I wanted to buy more video games, and I remember going to my parents going, "Hey, can I have some more video games?" And my parents going, "No, we can't afford it." I was like, "Well, what if I go make my own money? Like, how could I go do that?" And so my
Mhm.
parents are really supportive at a very, very young age, and it was just a means to an end. It was a problem that I personally had, which was I wanted more video games and I didn't have the dollars to go spend it. And so I spent, the first maybe 6 to 8 years of my entrepreneurial life building a very small hosting company, which I was able to sell at some point and enjoy some proceeds to that to really just drive it into the next thing. You make a really interesting point. It's about doing the thing today, driving into the next, and continuing that journey, like really pushing toward it. And that's what I do. If you have a little success, you double down. But always for me, it's not about the business. It's not about the proceeds or what dollars you might be able to glean from it. It's about making that change. Like you have to have a real understanding of yourself and a real passion toward helping others. If you get to know me and you get to know the people around me, they if you ask them what I care most about, it's not business, it's not technology, it's people. Like really making sure that I've been rooted in this idea that the people matter the most, and whatever I do in my life has to help the people around me. That for me has spurred countless entrepreneurial endeavors. And so you as an entrepreneur have to be prepared for failure. Like again, success is great, it's amazing, like outcomes are awesome, but you're gonna fail a lot. And so I would say my first entrepreneur journey was just a means to an end. Young kid, didn't know any better, was just trying to do something for myself. And taking some of that early success, I ended up just doubling down and ultimately failed. And I remember sitting in the backyard of a house and mowing the lawn and tending to roses because I had lost all my money, right? I had invested so much in this thing and it just failed. And so I ended up going into the private sector, spending some time helping really big tech firms, try to solve some of their most complex challenges. And I would tell you, it was enough time for me to kind of get my wind back, kind of get my feet under me. And I'll tell you, my second kind of spur of entrepreneurship was at this moment where I saw so much waste and inefficiency. And again, for me, my grandfather had this notion he really instilled in me is if you have the ability, you have the responsibility. Meaning, if you can go do a thing, you have to go do a thing, and not for yourself, but for others. And spending time with some of again the biggest names in tech, I got to see kind of behind the scenes of what was being missed, like the opportunity that was missed for software to go truly impact people's lives. And that was for me the gravest of sins. So the fun aside, right? The potential outcomes, the negotiation, like all the value you might get out of it. That all aside, just this idea that there's a wasted opportunity really drove me to go do this kind of second round of entrepreneurship. And it started again about 10 years ago or so, and it's been fun ever since.
I love that part where you just told us that, well, things that you started at a certain age actually turned everything into reality. And I love that part where you also told me about, well, Rohit, there was an inner calling initially from the start. So it's all about inner calling, right? So, and I always say to anyone, right, that you have to have that so that you can actually succeed. Like if there's something not within, what are you doing, right? As a coach or a consultant, your focus should be on transforming lives, not struggling to get clients. That's where my company Amplify Media comes in to help you not just scale your business, but to consistently give you the revenue that your business deserves. We actually build a done for you lead generation acquisition system that brings in clients consistently so that you don't have to worry about where the next client is coming in. You focus on the most important thing that is scaling your business and impacting your own coaching clients. From high impact marketing and scroll stopping content to expert funnel creation, we take your business from point A to point B with precision. Coaches and consultants worldwide trust the company. We have over 277 plus clients, case studies all around the world, help tons and tons of businesses scale. So your next level is waiting. Let's make your brand unforgettable and visit the website today. I would love to offer you a free strategy session to share with you how we can help scale your business. Thank you. Welcome back to the third episode of the Empower Entrepreneur TV show, where we actually help you learn, elevate, and scale your business. I'm your host, Rohit Soni. We are here with T.C Ferguson, like I told you earlier, and we have learned some very important things right away, right? The founder of FreshAhead and Forward Thinking, who's redefining business innovation through technology. So, shifting gears based on what we discussed, let's just take a deeper dive into questions that actually solve your biggest problems, right? So, TC, one of the things that I've learned is many founders struggle with scaling, right? So, according to you, what is the biggest myth that people get or founders get when they start scaling their business? What's the biggest myth according to you?
Oh man, that is a great question. And in fact, I probably struggle with this every single day myself right now. The obvious one is it's not easy. If anyone believes that it's easy, they probably shouldn't be an entrepreneur, right? The entrepreneurship is probably the hardest journey that someone's ever going to take, which is why you need to be rooted in passion. But I would tell you that the real myth buster, the idea is 10% of the equation. It's not just the idea. Like you got to have a great idea, something revolutionary, something amazing, something as a moonshot idea worth pursuing. But 90% of the battle, 90% of scaling, it's just hard work. It's showing up, it's grinding, it's working 80, 90, 100-hour weeks. It's never ever giving up on the thing because again, rarely will a day happen that you will feel successful. It's fraught with peril and challenges and issues, and every once in a while you have a little success, which gets you. It's like a golf swing. If you're a golfer, and again, I'm not a very good golfer, but that one perfect swing, that one perfect contact keeps you swinging another probably 300 strokes. Like it's just enough to keep hooked to the thing. So same with entrepreneurship. That myth buster, this idea that you just can't give up. Don't be distraught. Don't be discouraged. As long as you're rooted in an amazing idea and true passion, just know at the end of the day, you're a little sad, you're a little, grumpy or cranky about something that didn't go your way or wasn't perfect. It shouldn't dissuade you, because tomorrow could be that perfect swing, that absolute perfect moment that breaks everything open and unlocks truly the thing that you've always hoped for.
Love that. I love that. And you said that it's all like, it's just a myth, right? And you should not be an entrepreneur if you don't know the struggles behind it, right? You gotta go through those hard steps. You gotta go through the heartbreaks. You gotta go through the sleepless nights. And most importantly, you gotta go through rejections, right? So, talking about rejections, like you talk a lot about solving the unsolvable in business. Can you share an example of a challenge you cracked that seemed impossible to you at first?
Yeah, I mean that's what we do. So I'm actually looking for the best example of many. I think with software, it's really interesting. So for me as a technologist, like I'm literally the biggest nerd most people ever meet. I'm a software developer through and through, and for me, I think about software as a superpower. And a lot of times people don't understand in business and enterprise and really life how to go get leverage from software to go solve things. And again, software works very differently than the way people think. And so a lot of times when people think about solving problems, they think about their own perspective, the way their brain works, how they think, but that's not how software works. And it's so awesome in the sense that, those repetitive tasks, those things that are so complex and there's so many variables, software thrives. But when a person or an industry like ag is what we spend a lot of time today solving in, there's a lot of people processes. There are a lot of processes that rely on people making great decisions. And again, the people in ag are some of the most amazing people that I've ever had the opportunity to work with. But I'll tell you, their challenges, their problems, their daily operations are extremely complex. Tons and tons of variables. So let me give you a real example. I remember one of the first conversations we had in ag. I remember asking a bunch of questions of this prospect, and I was trying to understand how I could help their business. And it was a very large business, multi-billion dollars of revenue. And I remember asking them how they make their money. Like, how do you make your money? How do you spend your money? Like, what does your margin structure look like? And what we figured out in that conversation was, they were a very low margin business. They spent more than half of their top line revenue on simply cost of goods, which is a really like, it blew my mind, right? Coming from more leveraged industries like banking or software or social media, etc. And so I remember asking, like, oh my gosh, I mean, you spend billions of dollars a year. Like, you must have a really sophisticated system to do that. You must have, Oracle, SAP, like some like complex thing to help manage and optimize that. And I remember being laughed at in a room, and I thought I had made a grave error, right? I thought I asked a really stupid question. And their answer was, well, no, we do all of that in Excel. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, you get your reports in Excel, right? Again, these are like top executives, big company. And I remember them, just going, no, like, we don't get our reports just in Excel. Obviously we do that too. We run that entire business in Excel. Here are the 5 workbooks. Here are the 50 sheets. And I remember just thinking to myself, wow, okay, maybe I don't understand this industry that well. And I said back to them, you're losing money, right? And they go, ha ha ha. First off, no one's been able to prove it. And I thought to myself, challenge accepted. And the second thing they said, it was the last time we asked someone to go solve this problem to help us really, get efficiencies from this part of our business. So the answer was it would take tens of millions of dollars and take many years. And I remember laughing, going, well, what if it cost you nothing and took 90 days? And that for us is where Fresh Ahead started 3 years ago.
Well, that's amazing, right? And it's all about overcoming what's happening, right? Overcoming the rejections, overcoming things that people say, oh, will that work? or overcoming that voice in your inner head, right? When you, as a founder, start scaling a company based on your expertise, like you're in tech, which is amazing. Someone is at something else, which is amazing. So we have to overcome that inner voice, right, TC? So let's talk about that. Let's talk about taking a deeper dive into that part where, when faced with a major business roadblock, like what's your go-to mental framework there? What would you do if you were to face a major roadblock? You're going through a tough situation in your business as a founder. What would you do? So, what's your advice to those founders right now?
Yeah, that's actually probably the best question, simply because I feel like that is the life of an entrepreneur, right? The mental roadblocks, those challenges you run into. It's interesting. I was just really trying to reflect, and the answer that came to me immediately, and I just the people around me make the biggest difference, and whether that's good friends that I reach out to and lean on, or amazing customers that we formed a bond over solving complex problems, or my family. I would say that entrepreneurship is not something that you can do alone. The relationships, the network, the people you choose, and again, you have to really explicitly choose the people around you are everything, because when the going gets tough, and when there's challenges and questions you can't answer, and again, nobody's perfect, right? You're not going to be able to answer every question. You're not going to be able to overcome every challenge. You have to be able to lean on the people around you, and whether that's your family or your friends or your colleagues or your customers, you have to really have those relationships already in place. And so one of the things I think I do a pretty good job of, and again, my family might argue a little bit with me, is I invest heavily in relationships. I truly care about the people around me. I spend time making sure that I'm doing a good job of being a good resource and relationship for them, and in turn, they're a great resource and relationship for me. And so, when I run into those mental blocks, those things that are unsolvable that I can't get over myself, I reach out to my network. What do you think about this? How do you think about that? Why is this such a challenge? Like, what am I not seeing? And I'll tell you, there hasn't been one situation to date, and I'm sure there might be something in the future where someone in my network, a relationship I had, didn't make all of the difference to help me get over that moment in time.
Get it. And the thing is, like, it's all about alignment, right? At the end of the day, alignment in terms of your processes, your systems, where you are, and where you want to take your company, right? So one of the things that I've also seen in my own business that I did as this, like one of the roadblocks that I had was, I didn't even knew how to get payments from abroad back in 2019. It was not so popular at that time that you do a business, you start out as a freelancer, and you don't even know how to get payments from away countries. And my parents said to me, and I usually tell it to my students as well whenever I teach about this stuff, is you haven't earned anything in Indian rupees, so how can you earn something in dollars, right? So that's one of the things that I learned, right? That okay, I haven't done that, so what should I do now? It's at those moments you have a chip in your shoulder that you have to prove yourself. So, according to you, TC, right? What's the mistake companies make when they're starting out in terms of adopting a new technology for themselves? So, what do you think? What are those mistakes that a lot of new coming companies in terms of technology are making consistently? What's your take on that?
Oh, this is a great topic. I mean, this is at the heart of what I would call digital transformation, right? Companies certainly recognize the value of software, and we spend every single day, every single hour trying to get companies to understand it's not just technology. The number of times that I will sit in a room and say, look, we can build software faster than you can ever imagine. Like the way we build software, the underpinnings of how we think about technology is marvelous and amazing. It's almost what fictional stories are made of, right? But I can build software so fast, but the idea of adopting software, operationalizing, training on it, and changing culture is the make or break. And so when we think about like those moments that can help a company into the future of what they want to go be, and this is an entrepreneur kind of notion, is the problem isn't what I thought it was, right? The problem isn't tech and software. That's my background. That's what we've done. That's what we've spent so many years focused on. But it was really quickly surprised at this idea that the problem, like, we had solved it. We can build software better than most. We can build software faster than anyone can imagine, right? That story earlier where they were thinking years and we were talking 90 days. True story. And we ended up delivering on that moment. But I'll tell you that the years after that moment was all about people and process and aligning organizations so that they could take advantage of this superpower. If the superpower overwhelms everything else, you don't have a balanced system. And so what's really important for organizations and entrepreneurs to think about is you have to have balance. You have to have a cohesive, holistic system that works end to end and recognizes the value. And so what we end up spending a lot of time on doing is just getting organizations to think to themselves, look, it's not just a tool, it's not just a software, it's a culture, it's a mindset, it's putting the right people in place, the right incentive structures, the right operational notions to go take advantage of this really special thing. And so again, as an entrepreneur, I was really, really shocked that the problem I thought was going to be really important actually ended up being the smaller part of the problem. And now I'm facing new problems every single day that I'm actually really enjoying tackling.
As a coach or a consultant, your focus should be on transforming lives, not struggling to get clients. That's where my company Amplify Media comes in to help you not just scale your business, but to consistently give you the revenue that your business deserves. We actually build a done-for-you lead generation acquisition system that brings in clients consistently so that you don't have to worry about where the next client is coming in. You focus on the most important thing that is scaling your business and impacting your own coaching clients. From high impact marketing and scroll stopping content to expert funnel creation, we take your business from point A to point B with precision. Coaches and consultants worldwide trust the company. We have over 277 plus clients, case studies all around the world, help tons and tons of businesses scale. So your next level is waiting. Let's make your brand unforgettable and visit the website today. I would love to offer you a free strategy session to share with you how we can help scale your business. Thank you. Welcome back to the Empowered Entrepreneur TV show, episode 3. I'm your host, Rohit Soni, and we are diving deep now into AI, automation, and the future of tech with T.C Ferguson. So, TC, tell us a little bit more about how tech is evolving rapidly these days. That a lot of things are coming in, new technologies, new stuff for businesses to scale. What's an underrated trend people aren't paying enough attention to right now? Because viewers want to know that early mover advantage. They need to know what's happening these days that can actually give them that right away, right out of the gate. So let us know about it.
Yeah, early mover advantage. AI is certainly a special thing. I'm a technologist, so I'm really intrigued and I appreciate the notion of AI. I'm a little bit of a skeptic in the sense that I know kind of how it works and what some of the limitations are. But what it unlocks for people and businesses is pretty vast. The thing I really appreciate about AI is it takes something super complex and it can make it simple to consume and interact with. If I think about an early mover advantage, yeah, what I would think about is not necessarily the AI as it is. Like, again, candidly, when I think about LLMs and like Chat GPT and some of the things that we are seeing a lot of, I use those every day, right? Doing job descriptions, writing text, things that it's really geared for. I take advantage of, right? And it saves me hours a day at this point, right? It helps me personally scale. So I would say that's an early mover advantage. But if you want a pro tip, if you want the thing that's going to make the difference, it's going to think about that island you want to retire to, or that new level that you want to unlock. I would say that what AI is doing for us today is showing us the real opportunity of what can and will be, and what we should go do to really take advantage of the opportunity in the future is get ready for it. And what I mean by that is not necessarily just be satisfied with what it can do for us today, which there's quite a few things. But from a business context, the thing that AI does not do very well is understand the nature of the business, right? It understands text and how text goes together based on all the interpretations of all the internet and dictionaries and things that it's consumed over time. But what's really hard for a lot of AI to go do today is understand the context of a business, the context of the real world, right? The Newtonian physics, aspect of if this happens, that will happen. And so, what we can go do to get ready for this revolution is to go get our data ready, to go get our context ready. We developed a technology that we call digital objects, which is this embodiment of object orientation in software. And what we do with that a lot of times is to go create these entities and these contexts for various business things, so that when AI is interacting with these things, it has that built-in context. In the sense, in ag, a crop is something that grows, an outcome. A harvest is something that consumes the outcome. That basic context, it's really hard to get with just words, right? You need data and understanding. And so I would say take advantage today of what AI can do, right? Save you some time and effort, writing, text manipulation, etc. But the pro tip here is to go get your data, your context, and your understanding of your business ready, so that the future versions of AI can really take advantage of it and help unlock, that Shangri-La moment of untold fortune.
Love that part where you just mentioned it's rapidly changing consistently and you don't know what's going to happen next. So you got to be,
True.
at least you need to follow the trends, TC, just so that you don't fall apart, right? Okay, so how do you see like AI and automation reshaping like agriculture and food supply chains over the next 5 years? I know this is like a little out of context, but we need to know, right, how it's going to impact.
No, it's great. So ag. So I'm fairly new to ag. I've been doing ag about 3 years. Anyone who knows me knows that I ask infinite amounts of questions. Like, I'm a question asker, so I learn really fast. One of the things that has astonished me about ag is the number of variables and complexities that are associated with doing something that we take for granted. We go to a grocery store, we go to a market, we grab a bag of salad, we grab fresh fruit out of the drawer or shelf. To get that done, there's so much complexity. And I'll tell you, in the opportunity, the thing that I see happening is simplifying that complexity for optimizing outcomes, right? It's scaled past the point that humans can do an optimal job of dealing with all the chaos that's constantly changing, right? Weather, regulations, growth patterns, planning, harvesting, forecasting, all that's like, it's grown past the point that people can do it efficiently. And so, getting tools and software and AI to help you with that is really going to go drive, lower cost, fresher produce, and ultimately a consumer satisfaction that we are driving toward, right? I don't want to buy something from a store in the fresh cut space and bring it home and have it go bad a couple of days later. And so AI for us is really going to go help kind of tame that wild west, that chaos of all these variables, so we can get our best outcomes and really take people out of the chaos of it, so that people can go think more critically about how they can go drive us to the next level of whatever the industry needs.
Got it. And just to understand a little bit more on this, that if you were to start from scratch today, TC, right? If you were to leave everything, start from scratch today, what's the one thing you're going to build and why would you want to build that?
Oh man, that's a great question. So if I was going to start from scratch today, what would I build and why would I build it? You know, uh, just so I'm giving you and your viewers the right context. Do you mean an industry notion, a tool notion? Like, give me some more context so I give you
As a
the right
founder, as a founder,
founder. Oh,
new,
what industry would I go tackle?
yeah, which industry and why?
Oh man, I would go to the first industry that I found that I felt was the furthest behind when it came to software. And so for me, again, I'm a bleeding heart. I want to go help people, and for me, this idea of software and helping people is pretty critical. We're actually looking at a couple industries right now. Workforce management, I think, is an industry that there's a ton of people that could have better lives that could be bettered by software. Workforce management's a really good one. I'm really, really keen on retail and grocery as an industry. I think that's at the intersection of what drives and feeds society. There's this industry that we're working in, which is ag, and growing and making the produce and the livestock and all the things is really important, right? But that all flows to us as people, as a society, through distribution centers and grocers and retailers. And for me, like helping that industry could be a really, really special thing. And truthfully, I think the opportunity is underrated in that industry, especially.
Like that part where you said that it's underrated, because sometimes we actually don't know what's gonna be big and what's gonna be small. So as a founder, what I also do is I kind of take a leap of faith sometimes and try something new, because when we sign clients, so what my company usually does is we help get leads out for our clients. We help them with their online presence so they are established as an expert. So if it's a company like you, we'll try to do is we'll try to establish your company as the go-to expert, right? To help your clients know that here we go, this is a company that can help you out and describe their problems better than they can, right? So that people know, like, and trust your content. And I get it, right? As a founder, that you need to understand and take some risk in between. You got to take some risk, or else you're going to fall behind. Knowing that. So, TC, according to you, what's the one leadership lesson that you took maybe earlier in your life that changed everything for you as a founder today?
One of the things I think it took a little age and a little wisdom to really appreciate was that people really matter. And I talk a lot about people in the idea that, I want to go help people in society and make a meaningful difference for the world. But that's a little different than this idea that the people in the company really matter, right? The younger version of me thought about the people and employees and contractors as resources to drive outcomes. And frankly, what I learned really quickly was that's just the wrong way to think about driving great change. The mission that we're on is greater than myself. I can work as hard as I can work, but I'm one person. It's getting people supported. It's unlocking challenges for the people around me, and really caring about them in a way that people find a little counterintuitive sometimes. The number of times I hear someone go, well, TC, like, how could you spend the time with that person? Like, aren't you so busy? I'm like, yeah, I'm busy, but that time, that investment in that person, like really getting to know them, really mattered to them and me. And that person now has a better opportunity to make choices for themselves. And ultimately what I find is, people want to join our mission because they know that it's not, I mean, the mission matters, right? We got to go be successful. We got to go help the world. But for me, it's not just the mission. Like it's a mission oriented thing that we're doing, but the people are the mission. And if we can't go convince people, if we can't go get people to really appreciate that, then we're going to fail. And so I spend a lot of time making sure people understand that I care about them more than I care about anything else. And I would say that that's something that I've learned the hard way over many, many, many years.
It's all about the people at the end of the day, TC. It's all about working for your tribe, working for your community to help them elevate to the next level, and then creating a solution for them that people love, that people want to take their business life to the next level just by working on that solution with you. So it's all about putting in those extra efforts, right? So yeah, right now we're gonna run into a short break, and when we come back, I'll ask TC these questions. By the way, he'll share with us insights on balancing entrepreneurship and family life, overcoming self doubt and burnout, and how the daily rituals that he uses to fuel his success for his company and in his overall life. So I'll see you after this short break. As a coach or a consultant, your focus should be on transforming lives, not struggling to get clients. That's where my company Amplify Media comes in to help you not just scale your business, but to consistently give you the revenue that your business deserves. We actually build a done for you lead generation acquisition system that brings in clients consistently so that you don't have to worry about where the next client is coming in. You focus on the most important thing is that is scaling your business and impacting your own coaching clients. From high impact marketing and scroll stopping content to expert funnel creation, we take your business from point A to point B with precision. Coaches and consultants worldwide trust the company. We have over 277 plus clients, case studies all around the world, help tons and tons of businesses scale. So, your next level is waiting. Let's make your brand unforgettable and visit the website today. I would love to offer you a free strategy session to share with you how we can help scale your business. Thank you. Welcome back to the Empowered Entrepreneur, episode number 3. I'm your host, Rohit Soni. And like I said, success isn't just about strategy, it's about balance, right? So, TC will share with us what not only leads multiple companies, but also juggles family life with precision. Let's explore how he does it all, right? Let us share that. What's your take on balanced life and burnout, how you can overcome all these things to actually be more productive and effective in your business life, TC? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Oh man, these are the hard balls. I like it. I don't know if I'm the best person to talk about balance. Certainly, I'll share with you what I've learned over the decades. I personally work really hard, and mostly because I'm driven toward this thing that I'm trying to do, which is drive meaningful change in the world. Uh, I would say there's no such thing as work life separation. A lot of people try to go find a work life and separate that from their personal life. What I have found for me that works a lot better, because again, there's only so many hours a day, is I tend to blend both work and personal life. For instance, last weekend, one of our best customers, they were down in the area that I live, and we ended up spending one of the days of the weekend, we went out to a winery and we spent some time together. And that wasn't a work event. Like they're colleagues, they're friends, and I had my family with me, my amazing wife, my two young kiddos, and I just blended the whole scene so that I could build great relationship with people that I need to for work and for the mission that I'm on. But also my family got to meet them and interact with them. They got to meet my family. I got to have a great time, and so I got some balance while also driving toward this outcome and this mission. Again, it's not calculated, but I just genuinely like this idea that I am one person, I live one life. And so as hard as I work, if I didn't blend both my personal and work life, I wouldn't have a personal life, frankly. And so that's the kind of the secret that I've learned over the last couple decades.
And here's what I learned based on what you just told that aligns with me is that you learn by doing. You don't have to learn all the 100 strategies in the world as a founder. You have to just do one thing.
It's true.
Keep doing it consistently. So, one, you get better at it. And then once you start understanding what things to do and what things not to do, that's where success begins. So, what's your take on that?
Well, yeah. So, a crazy notion, and if you're not an entrepreneur, this might sound a little nuts, but I thrive in failure. Even on calls, I constantly am spending time with my team, going, "Great, let's go fail. Let's embrace it, enjoy it, but let's do the next thing, and let's do it faster, and let's do it better, and let's learn from it." In fact, I would even argue that I don't find great pride in success. If you're successful, it's because you had the answer or you figured the answer out. So what's the next question that you don't know yet is all the thing in the back of my head. And so to your point, like this idea that we're learning, I'm never ever discouraged by being wrong, by failing. In fact, the opposite. If I know all the answers, if I'm not challenged, then I do get discouraged. I'm not asking hard enough questions. I'm not driving toward the next outcome. Like I'm not setting the bar high enough. And so I would say that, as an entrepreneur, if you don't have that mindset of being fueled by failure, by rejection, by this challenge of the thing that you're trying to achieve, you're going to be hard pressed to be successful, because I think that is a critical component in driving toward outcomes that will make a meaningful difference in our world.
And talking about difference, One of the things that I have learned is what makes meaningful differences, TC, is doing the things over a consistent period of time just so you can get better, right? So doing the right actions. The right actions, when I say right actions, are for me, it's money making activities, the activities that actually generate revenue for my clients, right? That's what
Yeah.
I'll do. And at some point, you can try to impact a lot of people in the world, right? But at the end of the day, are you feeling good about it? That's one of the things that I'll say. If you're feeling good about creating that impact, let's just keep doing that. If you feel that you're falling short, you just take a step back and introspect. What can you do better as a founder, right? So, like, what's a personal habit, like, or a daily ritual that you have that has helped you have that success as a founder, as an owner of a company? What's that personal habit, TC?
Yeah, I think there's really two answers there. I mean, the cheeky answer is I'm a dad who loves being a dad, and the daily ritual. My son is like a 5 a.m. wake up kiddo, and he'll wake up at 5 a.m. and stumble down the stairs and jump in our bed and wake us up pretty early. So I'm ready to go in the morning whether I want to be or not. So that's a really fun experience because it puts me ahead of the game. I feel like. But I would say the more entrepreneurial answer, the more technical answer. I'm a coder at heart. I'm a software developer through and through. I've been coding for as long as I can remember. I code every day. I write code for myself. I write code for our company. We go on vacation. I'm the person that's sitting on the beach, beautiful destination, Caribbean, tropical waters. I got my family there. My wife's sitting next to me, and my laptop is open, and I'm coding. And she's like, "Hey, we're on vacation. Why are you on your laptop? Why are you working?" I'm like, "I'm not working. I'm coding. This is my vacation. I'm having fun. I'm loving my life. I'm doing what I do passionately." There's not a day that I'm not writing some version of some code, and I would say that's the consistency that I have. Just like you wake up every single day and you're trying to drive great outcomes for your customers, I wake up every single day trying to build the next thing, to do, write the next code that's going to unlock the next opportunity. And I couldn't imagine a day where I didn't open up an IDE and write some code. That would be a travesty.
Here's what I'll say to that. If I, as a person, don't enjoy what I do, I won't be doing that on a vacation. So, one, that vacation is all about you doing the thing that you love, but in a better
True.
environment, right?
Yeah.
So I completely align with that because I usually travel the world at least 6 months in a year. I'm always traveling. Six
Yeah.
months I'm at home. So one of the things that I usually do is even if I'm going out, I'll be on my laptop just to take calls because I love my clients. I want to serve them. That's my vacation. I love that part. So
Yeah.
if you are an entrepreneur or founder, I'll always tell you, don't beat yourself up if you're walking. Maybe because you love it, that's why you're doing it. And again, self introspection, don't burn out. Okay? But if you love it, keep doing it because you're in your prime. You may regret not doing it later in the day, right? So that you use your prime in a way that you get the best out of it. So, TC, around the same topic, entrepreneurship can sometimes be lonely, and we haven't even touched on that topic. When you start out, rejection, sleepless nights, all those things come, and it could be sometimes lonely for people. So, in your case, right, have you ever faced moments of self doubt and burnout in your own life? And if you were to face it today, how would you navigate and overcome those?
Oh, again, such great questions. Certainly, I have. Any entrepreneur that says that he hasn't is lying, or just the luckiest person that I've ever heard of in my entire life. Uh, for me, the loneliness is this idea that as an entrepreneur, you're one of very few crazy people that are trying to go do something that no one can imagine. So you start off very isolated to begin with. I've compensated for that in just learning that it is a lonely life. So I really invest in relationships, like I was talking about earlier, and so it's been less lonely, I would say. But what I'd say today is, for me as an early entrepreneur, my friend network was really important. Making sure that people understood who I was, and that I balanced and actively and explicitly made time to spend with people was a way I dealt with that loneliness early in life. But I would say later, I think there's an interesting uh, paradigm shift when you start becoming a family person and you have a kind of a, an amazing partner, you have kids, like you have built in a lot less loneliness. I'll tell you, not a day goes by where I don't get to go home and my kids jump on me and, hey dad, I'm so glad you're home, let me tell you about my day. And for that, like I'm infinitely blessed. Like I don't have to think so much about loneliness, being an entrepreneur later in life and having an amazing family. I go home and they feel that loneliness. They get loneliness like I could never imagine prior. So for that, I'm really thankful. I do think there's something to be said. You talk about the challenges, the pros and cons of entrepreneurship. As an early entrepreneur, you have a lot more time to spend, and you can push really hard and work 24 hours and code your butt off and do all these crazy things. But it's hard to find balance when you don't have an anchor, right? You don't have that thing that is holding you to reality. I would say the blessing of entrepreneurship later, as you go have more anchors and roots and balance and maturity and a family especially, is you can still push hard, right? If you've done it right and your family supports you and you've set the right expectations, but you have built in balance. And actually, I got to tell you, the last 3 years, ag is one of the toughest industries I could ever imagine. And at Fresh Ahead, we've done truly amazing things. Again, managing multi billions of dollars worth of commodities a year, helping many farmers and managing tens and tens and tens of thousands of acres and helping people do meaningful things in their life. It's been awesome, but also excruciatingly painful. And I wouldn't have been able to do it without my family to really root me, to cheer me on, to go home and have people in my lives that help this not be such a lonely journey.
Completely, relatable to me too, knowing that struggles, rejections, everything come, right? But at the end of the day, how you overcome them is what matters, right? So before, I know this is almost at the end, I really want to know this from a personal perspective. If you were to offer one big advice to any founder out there who's starting out today, who's watching this show, what would that advice be? One advice that can take the business and life to the next level.
Do we want a serious answer or a fun trite answer?
Let's go with both.
All right. My fun trite answer, don't do it. Run away as fast as you can. Way harder than you ever imagined. It's going to be painful. It's going to be excruciating. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you're probably a little crazy. Now, again, I'm an entrepreneur and I'm a little crazy, and I've earned that right. Um, and again, my more serious answer, entrepreneurship is one of the most glorious and amazing things that you can ever imagine doing. Uh, my advice is, don't do it to be in business. Don't do it to make money. Do it because you want to go do something that matters, and find that thing that you care so much about, that it doesn't matter if 1,000 people day after day tell you you're wrong and you don't know what you're doing and you're thinking and just all the bad things. Like, go pick something that is so important to you that all those voices just give you more fuel. And if you can't find that one thing, wait. Go do something that matters and that can bide your time and gain experience, but make sure before you go do something that's going to change your life for good or bad, that you truly are rooted in the thing that you care most about, because it's going to take longer, it's going to be harder, everyone's going to disagree with you, and it's only at the end of the day when you look in the mirror and you're asking yourself, why are you doing this, why is it so hard, you have to be able to answer yourself. And the answer has to be, because it matters, I'm passionate about it, and I know I can do it in the end.
And at the end of the day, I'll just tell to wrap up the show is it matters. It matters to you. Anything can be done. If it doesn't matter, you won't do anything about it, right? So thanks a lot, TC, for coming on the show today and sharing with us the amazing insights, your incredible journey. To learn about TC's work, I would highly suggest you visit freshahead.com. And if you enjoyed today's episode, I would like you to come up and share with me your insights, your comments, your feedback on it, just so that one, we can improve the quality. Second, we can give you better content, right? So if you enjoyed today's episode, I would love for you to uh, personally adapt all the strategies that were shared by TC so that you not only take your business and life to the next level, but also you help everyone else elevate, right? So if you're here, you take someone here, right? That's your job as a leader, as a founder, or someone who's starting out. And again, don't be afraid of challenges as an entrepreneur. They will come, but the best people overcome those consistently without quitting. So that's our message for today, and I'll see you in the very next episode. Thanks, and have a great day. Success isn't for the chosen few, it's for those who choose to show up, take action, and never back down. This is the Empower Entrepreneur, hosted by Rohit Soni, airing across 185 countries, 26 plus TV networks, and 100 plus podcast stations. You've heard the strategies, you've seen the mindset. Now it's time to execute. I'll see you next week, every Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific and 8 p.m. Eastern. Go, build, dominate. Until next time, stay empowered.